So Shaun, tell me a little bit about what you've been doing. It sounds like you have amazing things on the horizon.
Yeah, this whole pandemic kind of slowed me down for about 5 months last year. I didn't know what to make of it. Kind of the strangest thing in my couple of years being on this earth. I got into the dark place, and I just stayed there for a while. And then I started coming out of my shell, and I started reminding myself that, hey, I'm still living. And yeah, so I started to record some stuff and do interviews and just all the stuff that I was not able to finish while touring so much. I tour for about 6 months out of the year usually. I started to gather that stuff all together and do some new material, and I got 2 albums. So I'm getting ready to put those out, basically.
Very nice. And tell us a little bit about these albums. What can we expect to hear?
Well, the first one is called Live and Living, and it comes out on March the 12th. The reason I call it Live and Living is that I hear a lot of executives or even radio people or people in the business say, oh, dancehall is dead because there's no numbers. And I call it Live and Living because I think it was living and in our hearts way before anybody else, a lot of people discovered it. So there's a lot of people in the business who I revere. I respect their talent. I think they don't have enough shine or light on them. And so I decided to just call the album Live and Living and work together with a lot of dancehall greats, young people who are just becoming great. And some of the what you call the columns in the whole industry in the genre. So featured on that album is people like Buju Banton, people like Busy Signal, people like Bugle, Jesse Royal, Serrani, Mavado, Squash, Intense, Ching Ching. I did a collab album on this one. And the subtone of the album, even though it's called Live and Living, it's more about collaboration versus confrontation, right? So Assassin's on the album, Sasko. A lot of dancehall greats and people who I revere as great producers and engineers also worked with us. So that first album is a very hardcore dancehall album, and I think the fans, back in 2000, 2001, are gonna get a nice memory jolt when it comes on to this album. So I think it means a lot to me because, especially because, I'm still going big internationally, and people are saying my genre that I'm from is no longer in existence. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so people are saying that the genre is weak right now. So I'm just trying to show that we are strong. We do produce good music. I believe in this album wholeheartedly. The other album is called Scorcher, which I have the lead single out now. I just did a video for it on Friday. It's gonna look crazy amazing. That album features dancehall production, and it's all dancehall, but some foreign-based dancehall production. But people like Sia appear on the album, Sia and Gwen Stefani in one song, on a Lover's Rock. Also, people like Jada Kingdom, Ty Dolla $ign, people like Stylo G and Tove Lo. So that album, I think, is gonna please the fans who got to know me since probably 2010 or 2015, something like that. and I'm still proud of that work. And I think the Sia song is a monster. And also the Sia and Gwen Stefani. But my heart is really a lot into the first album called Live and Living. Reason being, it just reflects how I feel right now a lot. There are songs on there, on both albums, that reflect kind of what's happening now in society, and just with the timing of all things. But yeah, the live and living is kind of like my heart right now. So.
Wow, that is incredible. And what would you say was the biggest challenge about making these albums, especially in a pandemic like we are in now?
Going to the studio and not being able to conduct yourself in the same manner, like mask up, hands. Now those things are normal to me on a day-to-day basis, except for the mask being clean. But just sitting there, sometimes I took off the mask, I'm working, and some people come in and they're speaking, and you have to remember to put it on. Sometimes you don't, and then for almost 2 weeks it's like nerve-wracking. I wonder if I'm gonna catch this thing. It's been crazy. But we put protocols in. We have a temperature check for people who come to the studio, and also the the holy water, which I call it, the hand sanitizer. And I think that's been it. And then staying alone for the 5 months. I had my family with me, which I'm very grateful for, and for the family time, that's been uncomparable. Like, that's been amazing. There's nothing that compares to that. However, it was hard to not see your friends and also not socialize. A lot of music I do is party oriented, and so that's been hard not to experience just a get together on a regular basis. But WhatsApp messages are turned up a lot. Me and my friends, some of me and my boys watch movies on WhatsApp. Like, we be watching the same movie on Netflix and commenting on WhatsApp. That was crazy. Wait, I'm not there yet. I went to get a sandwich.
We did that too here. Yeah, we did that too.
Yeah.
We
Trying to be normal.
Yeah. My sister and I did that with one of the shows, and she's like, "Shh, I'm not there
yet." Same exactly.
Yeah. It's great. It's great. And what would you say was the most rewarding part about making these two albums?
The rewarding part, okay, the collaborations that I did on Live and Living. In my genre, I do find that we kind of orient ourselves towards clashing too much. And so we're always going at each other. The two top younger kids are always like, yeah, I don't like you, I don't like you. Competing for fans and all of that. So I kind of brought together some people, which was pretty cool. And that was really satisfying. And it kind of proves the point of collaboration over confrontation for me. So, for instance, the last track on the album is called Everest like Mount Everest. And it features myself, Massacre, and Skilly Bang. Now, Massacre is from a few years out in the business, and Skilly Bang is just kind of like 2 years in the biz. But both very dope lyricists. And the guy who built the track is DeMarco. So I didn't know that DeMarco and Massacre didn't really link because of something that happened way in the past. And I also didn't realize that Massacre and Skilly Bang don't really, they were supposed to do some work, it didn't happen. So they were kind of freeing each other. They weren't happy with each other. So I got them all together. And then when I told Massacre, DeMarco built the track, he was like, oh man. And then I told DeMarco Massacre was on the track. He was like, oh boy.
Oh my God.
And then when I explained to them about the concept of the album for me, they both called each other apart from myself. They called each other behind my back. And they were like, yo, let's just squash this because it wasn't really nothing. And we just don't speak because of, I guess, just how the stuff is. So this is good. This is cool. And that was an amazing thing. And then I called Skilly Bang to the studio. And I was like, yo, listen, I know you don't really mess with this artist too much, but I want you to listen to this song. You could do any other collab with me, but I really like this collab for you and me and this dude. And I just want you to hear it. And if you like it, then you go. If you don't like it, I understand. I played it for him, and he went, oh. and then he said, yo, I'll do it. And so that was very satisfying to get those three people together, because honestly, it was nothing really there wasn't really a real beef. It was just that in our genre, as I said, the littlest thing can throw people off. And I feel that that type of mentality that we do have, because I have it too, um, it cuts us short. You know, I've seen music executives come down and they're like, who's the top 2 or top 3 people in the business right now? Young guys, I need to sign someone. And I showed them this guy, and they're like, oh, they're great, but their numbers are kind of scattered. Can they not collab? And then I'm like, no, because they're beefing. They can't collab. So I've seen it time and time again where executives are like, oh, well, I'm going to leave that alone and go to some other genre. So I think that's been hurting our genre. And so the most satisfying thing about it was to be able to collab with my friends and also with people who I just revere. But because of the idiosyncrasies or just the way how our genre is kind of set up and poised against each other, we got people together to work. So that was amazing.
That's incredible. Speaking of your genre, how do you think it's evolved since you've started in the business?
Oh, a lot more artists, a lot more talented artists and talented producers are in Jamaica. When I first started, you know, there were a few very good producers. Now there's a lot more producers who, you know, through the advent of the computer and different programs and kids who are studying stuff either by going to studios or just on YouTube or learning from friends. There's a lot more of that in the biz. Also, internationally speaking, there's a lot more people who are in tune to our sound. You know, there's a lot of pop people who are kind of utilizing our backbeat, the drum and bass from dancehall music, the kind of groove and the swing that we do. People from Europe, people from the States. Also, music like reggaeton is very reminiscent of what we've done in the past, and I like to say that we spawned dancehall music, kind of spawned that genre. You know, Trinidad is also has embraced a lot more dancehall than their own soca music in the past few years, and they have a type of music they call zesting music. It's kind of bad boy music, but they're dancehall. They're doing dancehall from Trinidad. So all those factors make me feel that dancehall blew up way bigger than people expected it would. When I first started to do the music, it was always said, oh, it's a great music, but I used to go into clubs everywhere. I used to represent Jamaica for swimming and water polo. So I would go to clubs when we went to these places like Mexico and Orlando, Puerto Rico, Trinidad, Barbados, and I would hear our music. I wouldn't hear it on the radio, but I would hear dancehall music, and I would be like, oh, wow, that's dope. Our music is big. So I did believe in it. But I really didn't know until later on when I started to get on radio stations that there's so much more listenership that we could benefit from. So I think those changes are great. I think that the escalation though of the whole clash culture, which is something that we started in Jamaica because of just creative competition and trying to be the number one person. And that was cool, and it made us very sharp MCs, and it brought us to a point where our music was undeniably exciting and dope. But also, I think we've come to the point where I for one need to express myself and say that's not the only way that you could get ahead in the business, and so I'm trying to fight that down, where we should collab more than we do have confrontation. So thus the album. But the question was, what do I think of the genre now? I think great things of it. But I think we also need to do a lot more, you know, wide spectrum of ideas. A lot of people break in the business because they want to be, you know, the gun side, the bad man side, or something that's really macho. You know what I mean? And sometimes we should be vulnerable in our songs. Sometimes we should talk about when the girl broke up with us. Sometimes we should talk about when we are the gunman and we are paranoid because the police is looking for us. We don't speak about those types of behavior. Sometimes we should speak about many different things, and we don't. We kind of stick to certain topics. So I'd like to see us evolve in that respect. Yeah.
Nice. And one thing I like to ask the people I interview is, tell me a fun fact about yourself that might surprise your fans.
A fun fact about myself. This morning I swam 1,500 meters.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah, I just came back from the pool. I used to swim for Jamaica, and so there's still that every time. So when I used to tour a lot before this pandemic, there wasn't much time for it. I couldn't find an Olympic-sized pool to train in, because that's what I need really at my level of swimming. So I started to play tennis and do stuff like that to just try to keep fit. It was easier on the road to just book a tennis court and a trainer. But yeah, I just decided to start swimming again a couple years ago, and my father was a Jamaican swimmer, and so was my mom. He swam for the country. My father passed away 2 years ago, and we were just about talking to get back in the pool. And so when he passed, I just decided, like, yo, I got to go back, play water polo and swim. And it kind of makes me feel closer to him, and also it keeps me fit. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, you do look fantastic. Am I allowed to say that? And since you're also a TV site, what are you watching on TV these days?
TV, recently, because of, being at home a lot more, me and the wife started to watch shows. So the last 2 shows that we did watch, we were watching series type stuff on Netflix. So one of them was called The Crown, which is about the queen and her whole life, basically. And because I'm a history buff, I was very useful to the wife when she was like, so wait, who is that? What's going on now? I was able to tell her, oh, that's Winston Churchill, and he's doing this and that. And so that was kind of cool for me to be able to get her into that series. And now we're watching something called Bloodline, which is just it's a to me, family, weird family kind of situation. A lot of different things happening there, murders and crazy stuff. So we're checking that out. What we'll find next, I do not know, but I know that we have many evenings now where we're together, so we're doing that.
Very nice, very nice. And when you do go on tour again, where are you planning on going? I hear Pittsburgh is lovely. Hint, hint.
Hey, I'm coming. I'm going. I think I'm going all over the globe, and I definitely will come to Pittsburgh again. I've missed touring. I've missed seeing new places every day. Being on tour is like, for some people, nerve-wracking because like they can't settle down. But for me, it's like, oh yeah, I'm in this place today. Oh yeah, I'm in that place the next day, and it's kind of cool to be able to see stuff like that. It keeps my mind fresh. So yeah, where I'll be touring, I don't know, but I wanna come everywhere. And with all this new music, it's gonna be a bomb show that I have put together. So.
Well, I'll be there, and if you guys come to Pittsburgh, there's a lasagna with your name on it. I'll make you guys lasagna.
I love lasagna. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm Italian, so it's from scratch.
Yeah. So the real tomato sauce, huh?
Yes. None of that fake stuff.
Love that. All right.
Yes.
I'm going to hold you to that. I'm coming for my lasagna.
Yes, you will. I promise I'll make it for you guys. And where can we see you on social media and find your music?
Social media on Twitter and Instagram is at Duttypaul. That's DUTTYPAUL. And my Facebook page is just my Shaun Paul fan page, Facebook. And yeah, that's me. You can check me out. I'm on TikTok too. I'm not sure what my name is on TikTok right now. I think it's Duttypaul also. But yeah, good stuff.
All right. So we'll be following you. Thank you for your time today. I truly appreciate you. And good luck and stay safe.
Thank you. I appreciate you too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
You too. Bye.